ఇద్దరు లాగానే ఎవరు
అన్నా నాది వస్తుందా స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ ఇప్పుడు?
ఎస్ భరత్,
వీడియో కూడా వస్తుంది.
ఎస్ వస్తుంది.
పనిచేస్తుంది.
మొబైల్లో లాగిన కదా?
ఇది ఫోన్.
ఓకే.
లేదు తేడా ఉందంటే అప్పుడు ఆపేస్తా.
లేదు, కోవిడ్ మొబైల్ ఇది
పర్లేదు కదా, ఇట్ ఈస్ వర్కింగ్ కదా. ఇబ్బంది అయితే అప్పుడు నువ్వు చేద్దు కానీ ఇప్పటికైతే ఇట్లా వాడదాము.
షూర్ షూర్. స్టార్ట్ చేసుకుందాం మనం. Hello, good afternoon students. Welcome back once again our Friday GYST Club workshop. So today also we have one training module session and announcement, and after that we will play one science video as usual. Right, shall we start? Yeah. So before going to the training module session, I would like to remind and I would like to explain about our upcoming competition, GYST Swaminathan competition. I will share my screen. Give me a minute. Yeah. Hope you can see my screen. So we have a competition on GYST Swaminathan talent test. Actually, previously it's called Swaminathan talent test. Now we are calling it Swaminathan Science Day contest. So there are 4 types of competitions we are conducting on behalf of Science Day contest. So let's see. One is the arm skits. Second one is the shorts or reels. All of you know about shorts and reels. And third one is poster presentation, which is also you know very well. Already some of you may participated earlier. And last one is photography. Of course, you love to take pictures. It's very simple, but there are some themes for these 4 competitions. I will explain one by one. For kids, so you have to choose one theme for this competition. So theme is like this. See, here theme is an Indian invention. So one invention from India, Indian invention, or Indian scientist, about Indian scientist, or a science and technology concept. So these 3 themes are available for this competition. So you can choose any one of these themes, either Indian invention, either Indian scientist, or science and technology concept. You can choose the theme. So for skits, you can choose the theme, whatever the theme you love to play. So you have to choose that theme. The skit length means duration of the skit. To play the duration of the skit length is 10 minutes. Maximum 3 minutes you can add for that. Minimum 7 minutes. So this is about the duration of the skit. So you have to record that skit in your mobile or camera, whatever it may be, in the landscape mode. So that is the eligibility to record the landscape mode, horizontal mode, and it should be performed by group of people, not as a single person. The group of people. For this, we are giving an opportunity that you can add your guide teacher also. She or he may part of the team, but he or she should not be the main role. But to support the team, you can include that guide teacher also, right? So that is the advantage or privilege to play the skit. And after the recording, so you have to submit the video into a Telegram. Already we gave the link. We give the Telegram group link in website and providing in WhatsApp groups also. So you can submit the video into that group. So you can mix up the students also, juniors and seniors. There is no categories for juniors and seniors in this particular kids competition. You can mix up the students from junior to 6 to 12 class students, right? So, but we have to finalize one group leader for this competition. So that group leader will submit the video into Telegram, right? So this is about kids competition. Of course, you can call us if you do have any queries, you can call us our number. Second one is short survey. So team is same. Three type of teams we gave you. So you can choose any one of the team. The length is, of course, you know, shorter length is 60 seconds maximum. So 50 to 60 seconds of the reel. So you have to, let's say, if you choose one scientist, you have to explain about the science. So his innovation, his participation towards the country, etc. So you can play his images, or you can play his invention, like that. Or else you can record yourself to explain his innovations and his work towards his contribution to the country, whatever it may be. So that is about 60 seconds. That means below 1 minute. So same, this is also you have to record and submit to the Telegram group, but it should be recorded in portrait mode, vertical mode. So skit is for horizontal and this is vertical. So this is the difference. Right. Third one is poster presentation. So all of you know about poster presentation. We have themes. You can select any one of the themes and prepare a poster presentation. Draw for the concept. So you have to take the A3 size drawing sheet that is already we gave you the dimensions also. So then regular drawing sheet. A3 size means 2 A4 sheets simply. So take the drawing sheet and draw the concept of the thing, and you have to write your details, your name, school name, class, phone number, email ID, the corner of the drawing sheet, any corner of the drawing sheet. Okay, but remember, you should not prepare these sheets by AI or Chat GPT tool. That is not acceptable. So you have to draw, right? After completion of your drawing, you have to send that poster to our Telegram group. How? Take a picture and send it to our group. Of course, there's one more add-on for this to identify this is the latest one. So we insist that you have to take you have to install a app GPS map camera. Okay, so you can go to the Play Store and you can download this app. You can take a picture that helps us to identify the date, time, and location also. So this app helps to identify this is the latest image and not a duplicate one. So you please download the app and send that picture to us. Right. So this is about poster presentation. And fourth one is photography. A simple photography competition, not a simple. There is a concept, there is a theme. So you can theme is you cannot take a picture of a scientist or innovation and you cannot explain about or else that's a difficult part. So that's why we gave you the theme is a science and innovation concept for this photography contest. So only one theme for it. So science and innovation concept. And take a picture. Let's say I will give you an example. So let's take a picture of this mouse. Okay, just take a picture of this mouse, and you have to write down a simple caption about this mouse. Then after that, you have to narrate about this photograph. What is it? How it will work? What's the technology behind it? You take anything. This is a concept of the science and innovation concept. So you can take a picture, but you have to narrate about this picture. So what is it? How it works? What's the technology? What's the working principle behind it? How it works? How it is helpful? Blah blah blah. About minimum 100 words. So not more than 100 words. Within 100 words, you have to narrate about this photograph. Same, likewise, for poster presentation. For this photograph also, you have to install GPS map camera. So it should be the latest photograph. You have to take before. Already we mentioned that, see, all photographs must be original and taken on or after 1st January only. So you take latest one, look around, observe. So which is the suitable or which is uh, like like to present. So take a picture and narrate about that picture, right? So these four type of competition for Science Day 2023. Last date is, see, I will give you the time then also. So already registrations open, submissions also open. Last date is 10th February. February 10th is the last date. You have to submit before 10th February. So then we can announce the award distribution, winners announcement on 20th February. Okay, all the best. Thank you very much. Right. So are you ready? Are you preparing for all these competitions? Yeah, very good. Nice. Good. Yeah. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now it's time for the training module session. So I would like to invite Bharath Valiveti. He is with us. He will take one more training module concept to share with you. Bharath, welcome you. Please take this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Yes. Just a minute. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, Bharath.
Okay. Mm, Okay. So, students, today we will be discussing about another new innovation training module, which is first principles thinking. Recently, you've seen over the past few months, we've tried to understand different ways of thinking about innovation, about innovating and thinking about ideas, how to solve problems. So, this is a different concept that we're going to learn today, which is something which you already know. Once we go through about it, once we talk about the examples, you will feel like you already know this. But now today we are going to give a structure to this. It is called as first principles thinking. And if you see the tagline here, the future belongs to those who thinks from first principles. First, before we go into it, let us understand usually how do we think, how our brain normally works. If somebody tells you do this or do this a certain way, you will think, okay, this is how it's always done. My teacher told me to do so. My father told me to do so, so let me do it. All my friends are doing it this way, so let me also do the same way. But have you ever asked why? Have you ever asked why you're doing this without just following from what other people are saying? Today, we will learn how to ask why and how to make it into a structured way so that innovative thinking can come up through asking why. The reason why we need to ask why is there are a lot of assumptions when we talk about when we look at things around us. As we said, we accept something as true. We don't check the reason. We don't ask why it is happening. If we're not doing those things, we are having assumptions in our mind, and those assumptions will form our thoughts when we do things. For example, assumption is something that we believe without asking why. Similar to assumption, there is a lot of bias that forms into our brain. It chooses up it chooses comfort. You don't want to ask why this is happening, you just prefer familiar ideas. You don't want to start thinking newly, but we copy instead of asking questions. Bias means our brain chooses the easy answer, not the correct one. It is very important to understand assumptions and bias, because once you remove assumptions and remove bias is when you actually start to think innovatively, think scientifically. So, as we said, the most important, powerful question here is asking why. By asking why, you remove all the assumptions, you remove all the biases, and that is how you go down to first principle thinking. First principle, as we'll talk about it later also. First principle means going down to the basics, and to go down to the basics, you have to keep asking why again and again and again. Like, why does this happen? Why is it done in a certain way? Why can't it be different? You keep asking questions rather than doing it because your parent told you to do so, your teacher told you to do so, or your friends told you to do so. This is the most important thing that you will be learning today. Never back down from asking why. Understand the reason, understand why you're doing what you're doing. Only then you start innovating. Only then that is the first step to becoming a scientist. As it is written here, if you stop asking why, thinking itself stops. The basis of thinking is asking why. Now, if you look at first principles thinking, it is basically thinking from the basics. You remove all the assumptions that we talked about, you remove all the bias that we talked about, you ask why again and again and again until you break down everything that is around you into small, small aspects that you can understand. You see the definition written here. First principles thinking means breaking a problem into its most basic truths and building a solution from scratch. You read this carefully. First principle thinking means breaking a problem into its most basic truths and building a solution from scratch. It is not about improving old ideas, it is about creating new ideas. And how do you create new ideas? By removing all the assumptions, by removing all the biases and start asking why. That is how you go down to the basics. And we'll try to understand all of this through examples. But before we do that, let us see how people normally think and first principle thinking. You don't believe what is happening. Those are completely two different mindsets. Once you start thinking this way, you won't think about any biases. You won't think, okay, this is how it is done, this is what I was told. The mindset shift happens in your brain, and you start to understand what are the basic truths, what are the facts, what are something that you can reason with, you can understand. Innovation begins where assumptions end. Let us take your school bag problem. If you guys remember, over the past few weeks, whenever we take up a training module, we are starting with the most basic example, the example of your school bag. Everybody knows the school bags are very heavy. Students get a lot of back pain because of carrying those bags, but nothing changes. Why are the bags heavy? Does anyone know why the bags are heavy? Have you ever asked why are students getting back pain? Why are everybody told to carry all the books? Why do we accept this problem? You bring those bags to school just because somebody told you to do so, just because your friends are bringing. But you need to understand the reason why this is happening. Only then, if this is a problem that you're seeing every day, you can find solutions by asking why. Let us break down this problem based on the assumptions that are there, and then we will understand how to use first principles thinking to, to find a solution to a very basic problem like your school bags, your heavy school bags. Let's see what are the assumptions here. Why is it heavy? There are too many books in your bag. Why all books daily? There is a fixed timetable, and every day you have all the subjects, you have to bring all those books. Why do you have paper books? Why are your books so thick and made of paper? It is tradition. For many years, this is how it has been going on. Why don't you have lockers in your school so that you can put your bags there? You don't need to carry them home. Maybe it is because of the cost. You see, all these are why questions. And majority of you would not have thought about these things because you assumed, okay, this is how it is. I have to bring books. The timetable is fixed. I have to take this bag back to school, back to home. I have to bring all 8 subjects, 7 subjects of books every day. You have assumed that you have to do those things without asking the why. So the first mind shift here is asking why and removing all the assumptions. What is the basic truth here? As a student, you have to learn. You need information. It is not about the paper, it is about the information that you need. If you understand this, we'll go on to the next step. How do you rebuild from scratch? Now that you ask those questions, do you need paper? Can it be a digital textbook? Do you have to take all those bags home? Can you have lockers in schools? Do you need to bring all the subjects back to every day? Maybe you can change the timetable. Do you need to put all the books in the same bag? Maybe you can have a modular daily bag. Maybe something new like audio visual learning. So innovators don't redesign bags. They redesign learning. It is very important to understand this. Your problem here is a heavy bag, but you don't solve the heavy bag. You solve you solve learning. You solve learning in school. Then the bag gets solved itself. That is how you're breaking down. If you go back here, you're breaking down the whole bag into books, into timetable, into lockers, into all these different components. And you start asking the questions based on them rather than just redesigning the bag. This is a small example of first principle thinking, where you break down the things into small aspects and then you get an idea. You start by asking why again and again and again. I hope you guys understand this. This is very important about asking why. Now, school bag is something, okay, it is a very simple example. Everybody knows this. But first principle thinking, when we're talking about innovation, when we're talking about science, so many people should have used these. Scientists should have used this. Let us see some examples in real life where something as simple as asking why, something as simple as going to the basics of first principles has given huge innovations to all of us. These are the innovations that we see every day, and most of them we use every day. Do you want to know all these examples? How many of you know Elon Musk? Have you heard of him before? Yeah. What does he do? He makes rockets, he makes electric cars. What if Elon Musk also uses the same concept of first principle thinking when it comes to rockets? Traditionally, rockets are very expensive. Most of the rocket companies buy costly parts. But Elon Musk came and said, okay, let us break everything down. Rockets are made of common materials. You can share materials from other aspects of mobility machinery. And what if you bring them here? Manufacturing, he understood, is the real cost of rockets. If you send a rocket into the space, the whole parts, the manufacturing of that whole rocket is gone. So he thought, what if we bring back the rocket onto the ground, onto Earth, and reuse the rocket? If he thought, okay, rockets are like this, rockets are expensive, rockets go into the space and then they blast off, it is done, then you wouldn't have gotten SpaceX. You wouldn't have gotten this innovative idea of reusable rockets. He got this idea because he broke down what how space works, how rockets work. And he understood manufacturing is a real cost. And he understood if we reuse the rockets again and again, then you are cutting the manufacturing cost, and then it helps in bringing the cost down. That is the basic principle behind SpaceX. SpaceX is a rocket company launched by Elon Musk, which came up with the concept of innovative idea of reusable rockets. Now let us go to another example. Netflix. You all know OTT. Have you all see OTT movies, OTT series, web series, whether it is Netflix, whether it is Prime, whether it is Hotstar? I'm sure all of you go back home and watch these. Do you know the origin of Netflix? Did you know how it was invented? Netflix, at the core, has reinvented entertainment. Earlier, most of you would have seen this with your parents. Earlier, they used to be DVDs. You had the circular disc which you put in, and it comes into your TV, and then you watch a movie from that. Or otherwise, just like we do now, you go to the theater, you physically walk there, go to the theater, buy a ticket, sit inside the theater, and watch movies. Netflix thought, okay, this is old thinking. Whether to watch a movie, you have to buy a DVD, put it in a DVD player, have a TV in front of you, and then watch it. Or you have to walk, go to the theater, buy a ticket, and watch it. Netflix said, okay, this is old way. How can we improve on this? They went into first principle thinking. They broke down the whole movie watching experience into small parts. They said, okay, people want stories, they want convenience, they want to see the movie, they want to hear stories. It doesn't matter if they're physically there in the theater or not. It doesn't matter how they view it. They just have to know the stories. Then they said, okay, earlier you have to buy a DVD. Now they started this new thing where you don't buy any movie, you stream it. You will have access to it, you watch it, and then you give it back. You're not buying anything. You pay a monthly subscription, you stream the movie, and you go back. that movie is not yours. This is a very innovative idea that Netflix forward. Now, everybody, you all know subscription streaming is something which is common. But 15 years ago, it was not there. Nobody knew this. Netflix was the first one who started this. And it all began by asking why. Why do you think people should go to the theaters? Why do you think people should buy a DVD? Why do you think buying a movie is important? Why not just stream? They broke it into small parts and asked why again and again, so that they got this innovative idea of streaming anytime, anywhere. Now you guys know you can stream OTT on your phone, you can stream it on a TV, you can stream it on your computer, you can stream it anywhere, even in your school, you can stream it. This is the innovation that first principle thinking brought by asking why and not thinking in an old way. Last big example, again, this is a huge innovation by India, done by Indians, given to the entire world. UPI. This is again a big old thinking where money must be in cash. If you talk, now, if you talk to your grandparents, if you talk to elders, many of them feel like money should be in cash, money should be in gold. And the other side, when you put money in your bank, do you know, you ask your parents earlier when you had to transfer money in the bank online, it used to take a lot of time, it used to take hours, it used to take days. But now, UPI, they asked questions, they asked why. They asked, why should money be in cash? Why can't it be digital? Why should payment take a lot of time? Why can't it transfer immediately? They understood money is just value transfer. It doesn't need to be physical. It can just be value transferring from one place to another. And they also asked the most fundamental question of what is money? By asking all these questions, they came up with this new idea called UPI, where it is just transferred online. It is instant. There, it is done through QR codes. It is done very simply. And for people now, for most of you, you would think this is the normal. But 5 years ago, 6 years ago, this was not normal. It all came because of asking why, because of first principle thinking, because of removing all the assumptions, removing all the biases that money must be cash, money payment takes time, I have to put it in the bank. They removed all the assumptions, asked why, and then that is how a new innovation came. So by this, I'm sure you understand how important first principle thinking is. It is something as small as a school bag. How do you solve a problem for a heavy school bag? You use this principle, and the same small, important, easy principle is used for rockets, for UPI, for OTT, and for many other innovations that we use every day. After this session is done, you sit and think what all other innovations that you use every day around you are from first principle thinking, are from asking why. And it is a very simple 3-step process. Identify a problem, identify what is causing the issue there, ask why to find the basic truths, and build a new solution. Mantra is breaking, understand, and create. Break, understand, and create. So, this is first principle thinking. I just want you to take a few seconds to understand this mantra, repeat it, break, understand, and create. Take any problem, break it into small pieces, understand that problem by asking why again and again and again until you come to the basic truth, and then create a solution from there. This is the most important basic mindset shift that you need to have as an innovator, as somebody who wants to grow up and build something new. So, with this, we end today's first principle thinking training module. The final takeaway I want you to know is I want you to take away is question assumptions. Any assumption that you feel like is thrown at you, question them. Any bias that you have in your mind, you fight it. Don't take anything for granted. Ask why. Ask why again and again and again, more often. And innovation starts every time in our daily life around ourselves. It is not as I repeatedly tell you in every week whenever I come. Innovation doesn't start in a lab. It is not done with as an experiment. It is done in your mind. It is the mindset shift, and it happens in your daily life, among your students, among your friends, with your parents, with your siblings, in your school, in your home. That is where true innovation happens. So, with this, I just want to reiterate the point that we told in the beginning. The future belongs to those who think from first principles. So, with this, we end today's training module of first principle thinking. I hope you guys understood this. Go back and try to think of examples where you could see first principle thinking being used again and again in your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharath. Yeah, thank you, Bharath. Thank you for your time and training module session on first principle thinking. I hope all of you understand this concept. Are you practicing all these training modules in your daily life? Are you trying to remind and trying to practice? Are you practicing, children? Last week was art of observation. Are you observing everything? Are you observing specially rather than others? Just coming to school, going back? Are you trying to observe something new things from teachers, from lessons? Try to do that. Okay? Practice, practice. So every training module is useful to you. Okay? Practice all these things. Try to practice. We are not asking you to implement now, but you try to practice, then you become an innovator. Okay? Right? Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Bharath, for your time. And of course, AKNK school students, thank you for your participation. Have a nice day. And as I mentioned earlier, prepare for the Swaminathan Science Day contest. There are 4 different type of contests. So please prepare for that.